Even with the pedigree of Guerrilla Games and all the available media and gameplay footage there was for this game leading up to its release, Horizon Zero Dawn took me by surprise. This is a game that is better than it has any right to be, a game that is profoundly more fun than I had ever hoped it would be, and I can't heap praise on this title without mentioning how absolutely gorgeous it is, trumping even Final Fantasy XV's visuals that wowed me back in December of last year. Horizon Zero Dawn is a knockout. The game brings in a rock-solid frame rate, gorgeous visuals whether you're playing on PS4 or PS4 Pro, with incredible detail, lush vegetation and detailed terrain, beautiful lighting even without an HDR set, smooth animation, high levels of character detail even in NPCs, gorgeous hair, even small particle effects to add to the sense of atmosphere, as well as small insects that will fly on and off screen for you to just notice without them being disruptive. This game is showing off and is firing on all cylinders. Facial animations can be a little janky on some of the less important dialogue moments with NPCs, but the overall quality makes this easy to get past. The game puts you in the role of a young woman named Aloy, an outcast from birth, raised by another man named Ross, who has also been an outcast. Aloy is quite literally the red-headed stepchild that nobody likes, go figure, as she quests to learn the secrets surrounding her birth and parentage, as well as who or what is responsible for the attack on her tribe, the Nora. The game puts you in Aloy's shoes in her early childhood years, and a prologue that gets you introduced to the game's basic mechanics of bow hunting and resource gathering. From here, the game could go down a lot of different paths and become many different things, but I'm glad about what it actually becomes. It's an open world game that never feels like it's too busy or biting off more than it can chew. Not once did I hear the directors of Guerrilla brag about the square footage of the map, because it's not important. They had the God-given sense not to build an unnecessarily large map with nothing to do, or the Ubisoft trap of giving you a massive gameplay map with the same 3 quests to do 100 times over. Horizon's world always looks and feels big and engrossing, and at times, at the right times, it's overwhelming. It's immersive and doesn't let go until the credits roll. I was impressed with how I never got bored. There are side quests and challenges, but none of it felt overdone or like it overstayed its welcome. Challenges don't take too long to complete, and I never felt fed up with the side quest by the time I got to the tail end of it. The collectibles are there, but there aren't so many that it feels like filler. And there are in-game incentives to doing tasks, like getting rare items and the best armor and weapons. Even just plodding along from point A to point B, you can get immersed quite easily in hunting machines and real animals for resources, gathering plants that you'll later use for medicines and potions. Because the bow shooting and spear swinging mechanics are so tight and satisfying, you'll never feel like this is a chore. It all tends to happen organically, out of regular traversal. Be careful though, not to abuse your fast travel privileges as you'll cross the map, or else you'll soon find yourself short on supplies in the middle of a big hunt or battle. Be sure to keep track of your supplies zipping around from mission to mission. And that brings me to crafting. I'm normally not a big fan of crafting in games, and I wish people would just kind of move on from it. Instead of crafting the items, just give me the items, you know? But it usually feels like a distraction. Why the hell does Joel in The Last of Us not have a knife, but Ellie does? You mean I have to traverse the landscape searching for broken scissor blades to make one-use only shivs? What the hell is that bullshit? Oh, if I work hard enough I can upgrade to 2 uses? Come on, man. The world ended 20 to 30 years ago and this fool doesn't have a goddamn knife? Stop bullshitting me, Naughty Dog. So yeah, you're never short on your basics as long as you can collect shards and wood shafts from small trees to craft arrows and plants to craft medicines and potions to protect you from status effects. You get to customize your outfits and weapons with weaves and coils, respectively. They can improve various stats on your gear in very beneficial and distinct ways. You can add mixed mods to your armor to round out its abilities, or plug in a lot of the same type of mods to push its distinct abilities to the limit, creating specialized suits. I went for the latter, plugging stealth weave modifications, for example, into the already stealth-oriented Silent Hunter uniform, and made myself almost invisible. Combined with the silent running skill that you can unlock as you level up, and I was almost undetectable to all enemies until I was already in striking range. By the time they knew I was there, it was too late. Immensely satisfying. So yes, there's a skill tree, and the skills are divided into 3 discrete categories. Prowler, skills that develop Aloy's stealth capabilities. Brave, which emphasizes combat abilities. And Forager, which focuses on resource gathering and management. I can honestly say they're all incredibly important, and I always had to think very carefully about how I invested my skill points right up until I unlocked the very last one. The game is great about giving you a challenge and the tools you need to go forward and succeed. You'll need them as you go up against a strong variety of enemies, inspired by prehistoric predators and animals from the modern era as well, and they do a good job of explaining this in the narrative, all serving their own separate function in the ecosystem. Some fly, some swim, some run and jump, some breathe fire or ice, and you'll need to be ready. The game's diverse enemies demand a diverse array of tactics for defeating them. One of the game's biggest strengths is how it doesn't let you settle into using just one or two weapons to blow through the game's enemies. Each enemy is well designed to keep you on your toes, and underestimating any one of them can catch you falling back on your heels and regretting it. It demands you use the game's repertoire of weaponry and develop actual tactics for taking enemies down. They do get easier to beat as you level up and are able to purchase and trade for the best gear, but the game always demands your respect. If there's one exception, it'd be the human enemies, who rarely rise above the level of cannon fodder or stress relief, although it does make for a good sense of variety when you've spent the last hour or two on the edge of death fighting giant T-Rex robots and the like. I have only two real critiques with this game, and one is that the game, in terms of combat, in my view, the melee combat or close quarters combat never really rises to the same level as the shooting. This is forgivable / ignorable right up until you face off against your nemesis, Helis, in the third act of the game, the climax. The man who ambushed your village and almost succeeds in killing you in the beginning. This fight that the game has been very eagerly building to comes down to basically just lobbing explosives and or exploding some conveniently placed explosive barrels strewn throughout the area in which you fight him. It's a very one-sided shooting match as long as you have anything that blows up. You'll make short work of him. And while the scene that triggers once you deplete his HP is narratively satisfying, the actual fight is a letdown, leaving much to be desired. I wanted to get in there and duke it out with this guy. Get up close and personal, have a big old spear and knife fight or something. Not just lob slingshot grenades at him as I strafe around him. This fight could have been so much more compelling and personal. Honestly, even some QTEs where Aloy and Helis duke it out and you have to hit the appropriate buttons would have been welcome here. I know their partnership with Kojima only started recently, but it would have been cool if they stole some of their notes early on from the MGS5 CQC tactics, or just something to bring melee combat up to the next level. Hell, they could have even borrowed from the guys over at Naughty Dog or Santa Monica with how they did the fighting in Uncharted 4 or God of War. It's something they should have definitely put under the microscope and should do for the inevitable sequel. Worldwide Studios, guys, you're supposed to be stealing each other's homework. Ah well, maybe next time. It's a footnote in what is otherwise an astounding game, with gorgeous visuals and animation, compelling cast and characters, a heartfelt, enjoyable story, a unique and, as far as I know, unexplored setting and premise, a well-balanced and varied gameplay that kept me coming back day after day, and a satisfying ending that ties up its loose ends and leaves just enough threads dangling for a sequel without sacrificing the quality of the game. I have one story critique that is a big spoiler for the uninitiated, so I'll save it for the very end of this review. There's so much to talk about and praise for this game. It's hard to feel like I've covered it all. If I had to mention one more thing, it would be the game does a great job with its diverse portrayals of female characters, a strong female protagonist that never gets reduced to a sexual object, diverse representations across the game's important supporting roles, and doing a great job fleshing out all these characters to make them feel sincere and believable and relatable. But the takeaway is, get Horizon Zero Dawn if you haven't already. It's easily a Game of the Year 2017 contender in what is shaping up to be a great year for games. The retail price for Horizon is $60 new, and I can honestly say after playing it that the AZS final score is $60 full price. Worth every penny. Go out and get it as soon as you can. You won't regret it. So until next time, this is Kevin with the Zenny Saved. Play hard and save your Zenny. Peace. And now for that story spoiler that I had to put on blast because I didn't want to ruin it for anyone who doesn't know or didn't want to be spoiled. Okay, so Ted Farrow, the guy directly responsible for bringing about the robo-apocalypse that destroys our era of civilization, for some reason wasn't immediately incarcerated and or executed while Elizabeth, I can't say her name, Elizabeth Sobeck wasn't immediately incarcerated or executed while Elizabeth Sobeck and the other scientists and geniuses do what they can to fix his mess and ensure some kind of future on Earth after the world goes extinct. So then, while they're doing everything they can to tie up the loose ends of the Gaia project and hole up underground for the rest of their lives, this guy is off-site somewhere, a free man, for some reason, you fucks, and has remote top-level security clearance into the Gaia project mainframe. This guy has Omega level access, or whatever the fuck that means, and is able to override all the other alpha leaders on the project, completely delete the Apollo program that they just spent the last 15 months working on so the humans that populate the Earth in the next 500 to 1,000 years won't be stuck in some stone age, and then murks all the people at Gaia Prime who went underground to finish up the Gaia project by ventilating their oxygen supply and suffocating them. What the fuck, game? I mean, I get you're trying to give the story some stakes, some darkness, some emotional punch, but this makes no fucking sense. Why is this asshole still free? He built a self-replicating, organic life harvesting army of murder bots that wipes out life on the planet. The day U.S. intelligence found out what the situation was, he should have been 6 feet under. All his assets should have been frozen and acquired by the U.S. government and directed towards the Gaia project, while his body became food for the machines he built. There is literally no reason, unless I completely missed something. Someone feel free to shoot me a message, for him to be a free man and to ride out the apocalypse in his custom-built bunker to live out the rest of his life and then unilaterally decide to purge part of Elizabeth's Save the World project and just murder everyone on the team who was seeing the project through to the end as some half-baked attempt to assuage his guilt for what's happened. It's not that I don't get why his character did what he did. It's that he shouldn't have been in the position to do it. They could have easily written another reason for the project to go off the rails over the course of several hundred years. Anything could happen in that time. This one really pisses me off. I just feel like it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Horizon's great, even despite that one little point that pisses me off. Go get it if you haven't already. Until next time, play hard and save your city. Peace.